and during his prior 6-month deployment to Iraq, he'd been focused on improving that country's judicial and witness security, and staying alive. Future assignments back home hadn't been on his radar screen. "Who's the judge?" Pen poised, Jake figured he could get the basics from Matt now and fill in the rest later. "Elizabeth Michaels." He stopped breathing. Liz Michaels? Doug's wife? No. It couldn't be the same person. Could it? Even as that question echoed in his mind, he had a sinking feeling he knew the answer. "Jake? You there?" "Yeah." He took a breath, kept his inflection neutral. "I haven't done my homework on the 8th District judges in this area yet, but the name is familiar. I knew an attorney years ago from Jefferson City named Liz Michaels." The car in front of Jake pulled away from the drive-thru window, and he eased forward to place his order. "Same person. She was in private practice there for quite a while, then served as a state circuit court judge for 3 years. She was appointed to the federal bench 4 months ago." A muscle in Jake's jaw clenched as he pressed the mute button on his phone and addressed the barista. "Large Americano, and throw in an extra shot of espresso." The silence lengthened as he dug for his wallet, and when Matt spoke again, he could tell from his boss's tone that the man was frowning. "Is there a problem?" "Yeah, a big one. He'd rather go back to Iraq than head Liz Michaels' protective detail." But there was only one response a professional could give. "No problem." "Good. I'll get you some relief as soon as this thing is sorted out. But I'd like you to stick close for the first 24 hours. I'll send Spence over to assist." "Okay. Where is she?" "St. John's. It was the closest level 1 trauma center. 2 police officers are with her in the ER. They'll stay there until you arrive. What's your ETA?" Jake exited the drive-thru and headed toward westbound I-64. 10-15 minutes tops. "I'll be in touch." The line went dead. After slipping the BlackBerry back onto his belt, Jake reached for his cup and took a swig of the potent coffee. Then another. It was going to be a long, unpleasant night. 14 minutes later, the buzz from the espresso beginning to dent his fatigue, Jake found a parking spot near the ER and walked past the media vans. He drew no more than a few disinterested glances from the news crews milling about in the chill of the October night. Dressed in jeans, a wrinkled cotton shirt, and a scuffed leather jacket with 24 hours worth of stubble roughening his jaw, he assumed the reporters didn't consider him anyone worth noticing. They might have revised their opinion if they'd seen the SOG-issued .45 caliber Springfield tucked in the holster on his belt. Unlike the media, however, the police officers at the door gave him their full attention as he approached. Hand hovering near his holster, the older of the 2 officers stepped forward. "May I help you, sir?" "Deputy Marshal Jake Taylor." He'd already withdrawn his credentials from his pocket and flipped them open. The officer examined them, then nodded. "We were told you were on the way. Your brother is waiting to brief you. I'll take you back." He led the way inside, motioning for another officer to take his place at the door. So Cole was on this case, meaning the crime had happened in the jurisdiction of the St. Louis County PD. That was one piece of good news, at least. His brother was an excellent detective, but he'd have preferred a different venue for their first get-together since his homecoming, one that included a loaded pizza and a few laughs. A midnight rendezvous in an emergency room didn't even come close. As Jake followed the officer down a brightly lit corridor, blinking against the glare while his eyes transitioned from real-world darkness to a world that never slept.